Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Why I take the rating system with a grain of salt. And every now and then, either publicly or privately, people ask me, well, what type of women I find attractive or something like that, or, who I consider a dime and whatnot. And usually I really don't answer that. I really don't answer it because it's subjective and you're usually talking about the face. The only universal thing about Rom is that I like fat asses, right? And that's cool. In fact, I had somebody, he had said something about that and I was just like, cool, if you don't like that, you don't like that. And I was like, and see, that's one of the things. Sometimes people, we get too caught up in that ratings thing. Now, I've talked about adjustable sevens and dimes and all of that. A lot of times I use that for a reference. And even in the book that I have, it's called Meeting Attractive Women. I specifically say an attractive woman is dependent on that particular guy. Because there's no universal thing, despite what people think, there's no universal. If we parade some women, we can take several thousand dudes in this thing we call the black manosphere or regular manosphere, whatever. Parade hundreds of women in front of them, have everybody rate every single woman, and you're going to get different stuff across the board. You might have a few that gets consistently high ratings, but ultimately it comes down to your personal preference. Now, since people do, let me just hit something real quick. Since a lot of people do ask Rom his personal preference, other than a big booty, it's not necessarily a thick woman. I like big booties on, like slim women. I met some like women who are slim, that like slim, thick type of woman and stuff. They slim, but their booties poke out. Shoot, I like those too. I just, I like women just normally based on, bottom heavy and all of that. Now, that's just me. Now, somebody else, they're going to look at me funny and stuff, right? But that's their preference. That's mine. And you got to take it because ultimately, and men got to understand this, ultimately, you got to be with the type of woman who clicks with you and you only. And when I say click with you only, you can't worry about impressing your boys or something because they don't have to deal with that woman. And see, you still get some dudes, they get caught up. There's a lot of men, let's be real, a lot of men pass over some woman because, they not that fantasy woman, or they don't look like that icon or something like that, or they don't look like something out of a magazine, right? But as a man, you got to go with the woman who you click with, who got your back, who's supporting you, who's an ad woman. Now I'm going to use that mythical scale as a reference. I would much rather deal with a woman who, like, a lot of people would see as a 6, but she clicks with me, she supports me, she got a butt dunk. Or even if she don't, let's just take that out, right? But she clicked with me and, I do find her somewhat attractive. I'd rather deal with that than some woman who people would rate as, like, a quote-unquote dime, right? And I got something to say about that, too. As a quote-unquote dime, right, who is just going to give me hell every step of the way, going to question every decision I make, who's going to try to undermine me. And a lot of dudes get that. There's a lot of men out there. There's a lot of men out there. They're with that woman that looks good to the world, but they catching hell behind closed doors. And I've seen that. They are catching hell, And a lot of guys don't even get it. They don't even get it, right? But I want to say something about that dime thing. There's no perfection. Sometimes we gotta get out of it. Like in my view, you might have some women that stand out more than everybody else. But if you look at any woman, there's going to be some flaw. Because the so-called perfect dime, that means everything's perfect. But then what is perfect? Perfect nose, perfect body build, because that can go across cultures. You got, West African cultures, West African descendants, dudes in the hood. Oh yeah, that thick sister sitting on 40 and you got 40 inches of ass and hip. Oh yeah, it looks great. But then you get in some other environments and stuff, they calling her fat and whatnot. So what is universal? What's a universal dime? There's no universal thing. And anybody try to say it is really just some, cultural chauvinism. Trying to say, oh, this is the standard. Ain't nobody. Everybody got their own standard, whatever. And in fact, that should really be the thing. And that's something I'm just going to do from now on. I probably won't use the term. I'm going to try not to use the word dime unless it's in response to something else, or 6, 7, or 8, because it's going to depend. It's going to depend on the individual, because there's so many factors that is going to make someone attractive to somebody anyway. Right? Because they're like, I'll tell you, with me, a woman could have, in fact, I've known some women who've had like bone structures that people will say it reaches some golden ratio or something, and and they got it going on. People might think, oh, they cute, but then they got a masculine attitude, or they're not very feminine, right? So I'm just like, oh, what good is that? See, to me, if we're going to rate anything, I'm going to rate a woman on her level of femininity. Because that's what makes a woman attractive to me. If a woman is acting too much like another dude or something, I don't care what her bone structure looks like. In fact, I knew 2 women like that. They were sisters. They were cool, right? Now, most people who saw the older one would say she's beautiful, and she is. She's just very physically beautiful. Now, her sister is very physically beautiful too, but not on the same level, but they both up there. I think most men would rate them like 8 or 9. But the older one, wasn't the most feminine woman. So to many dudes, the younger one looked better. Or, got more attention from guys. So sometimes guys can't get caught up into that. Like, as men, you looking for that cooperative woman. You looking for that cooperative woman that you like to look at. Now, this ain't saying just go out and get some woman you find unattractive, but it got to be whatever your personal standard is, And don't get caught up, and really don't get caught up into what someone else likes. Because part of the reason I'm doing this, because I constantly get that. It's just like, don't worry about what I like. You might not like it. And it don't matter to me. It don't matter if I'm cool with a woman, because I'm looking at more than just her body or her face. I'm looking at her personality, how we fit together, how much I like being around her. Seriously, because trust me, there's a lot of women. There's a lot of women out there like got physically beautiful bone structures, got some evil stuff, got some stuff going with them. All right. Shit, BGS know one I'm talking about too, if you hear this. Yeah, brother BGS, that one still fucks with me because I'm like still pissed off about some shit. But yeah, take it, seriously. It's like, if you gotta use it for reference and stuff, and also with it too, it's relative. It's relative to you. You can go in one area, and just because a woman looks better than the other women there, you might be like, yeah, she a dime, right? But then you take her and put her in another environment and she don't stand out at all. And I've been in environments, I've been in some social circles, you get the woman who everybody's sweating and stuff because she looked the best, but then I look at the woman and then think about some other social circles, and I was like, nah, more guys will go crazy over here. So, there's so many factors in this. Your personal stuff is where they at. It's the culture they're in. And let me use that for culture, because this will really hammer it home. We heard that term before, POG. Fat ass white girl, fat with the, pH fat, right? There's a lot of those same women that a bunch of brothers will be in their inbox and going crazy over, and some of them even make money on Instagram or even in some of those black men's magazines, the 2 or 3 that still exist. But you put that same woman in like a mostly white environment and stuff, and they like, the dudes are like, ooh, she fat, something like that. So that's why, it's You gotta take it all. Ultimately, it come down to what you like and what you want. All right, and don't worry about that next man. That next man don't have to deal with. So, anyway, right. I'll get back with y'all later. I gotta go stomp a bug.